Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another week of online learning. This week, we are going to be talking about physical development and intellectual development in children ages 4 to 6. So, we're almost done talking about physical, intellectual, and social emotional development. Next week, we'll finish up on social emotional development of 4 to 6-year-olds, and then for the last couple weeks, we're going to move into parenting. So, physical growth, just like for children who are 1 to 3 years old, it's slow. Remember, infants, it was fast. 1 to 3-year-olds, it was slightly slower. And now from 4 to 6, it's slightly slower than 1 to 3. So it keeps getting slower as you get older. So typically, they grow 2.3 to 3 inches in height. So 2 to 3 inches in height. They gain 4 to 5 pounds. And at this time, children are beginning to lose all their teeth. So in the end, they're going to have all their permanent teeth, and they will have 32 teeth in all. And then this little chart at the bottom just shows you the height and weight averages for a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 6-year-old. So, motor skills. Last week we talked about gross motor skills and fine motor skills, and when you are 4 to 6 years old, that's when these skills significantly improve, because a 4-year-old is typically when you start kindergarten, and so you're getting a lot of practice with this. This is the whole point of school, is that we're working on those fine motor skills in class, and phys ed and playtime is usually working on your gross motor skills. So at age 4, the small motor skills you should be able to do are lace your shoes, dress and undress yourself, and cut on lines with scissors. By 5 years old, you should be able to tie your shoelaces, draw a recognizable person, skillfully pick up very small items like buttons, snaps, and zipper your clothing. By the age of 6, you should be able to build block towers at shoulder height, cut, paste molds, and color skillfully, and write entire words. Now, you should be writing words also at 4 and 5 years old, because think of kindergarten. Kindergarten kids are going to be writing and working on writing letters in their name, and by 4 to 5 you should be able to write. By 5 to 6 you will be writing sentences and stories. So for large motor skills, they can, at 4 years old, they can gallop and hop. They can jump forward as well as in place, and they can throw overhand with body control. At age 5, they stand and balance on tippy toes for a short period of time. They can skip, alternating their feet. At age 6, they can throw and catch with a ball with more ease and accuracy, and they can ride a bicycle. So that was everything we have for physical development. Like I said, it's slightly slower, and there's not as much happening because we're getting older, so our growing tends to stagnate. So now we're going to talk about intellectual development. And so we've been talking about John Piaget, and he has different stages of development, and the one that we're still in is the pre-operational stage. That's from children age 2 to age 7. So it applied to a couple weeks ago's lesson, and it applies to this week's lesson. So children in this pre-operational stage, they're thinking in terms of their own activities and what they perceive at that moment. So they're only thinking about themselves. It's like a selfish persona. So they use symbols, make-believe play, egocentric viewpoint, and limited focus. So this is what we're seeing out of children who are in this stage, and that's just typical with our brain development and everything that's going on. So, what do each of these things mean? So, to use symbols. Children learn that objects and words can be symbols, so they can represent something else. So, a stop sign means stop. They learn that. They understand the symbol means something. Or that the red on a stoplight means stop. So, red is going to typically mean stop. Make-believe play. Children continue to learn through fantasy play and dramatic play. So they imitate real life situations, like maybe playing house or school. And play is a huge part of development, not only playing with toys, but using fantasy and dramatic play. That's just playing using your imagination, and that's crucial to development. So, egocentric viewpoint. Children view the world in terms of their own thoughts and feelings. So, when a parent isn't feeling good, a child might give them their favorite stuffy. So, they know that their favorite stuffy is going to make them feel better, so they give it to their parent to make their parent feel better. Although that stuffy might not be the thing that makes their parent feel better, it's still a very sweet gesture, and that's what makes sense to them at the time. Limited focus. Children find it hard to focus on more than one feature at a time. So, for example, if you had white and yellow tennis balls and you asked the child how many tennis balls there were, and typically tennis balls are yellow, and that's what we know them as. And there were 3 white ones and 4 yellow ones. They would say there was 4 tennis balls because they're not seeing the white and the yellow balls as the same ball. They're seeing white balls and yellow balls. So they might, if you said how many tennis balls are there, they might say 4 because they know a tennis ball is yellow, or they might say they don't know because they don't know what a tennis ball is, and they would say there was 4 yellow and 3 white because they wouldn't see the white and the yellow as the same balls, and so different colors. So, children in the pre-operational stage is when we begin school, 2 to 7, and is this stage, and you begin school at 4 or 5 years old. So your mental abilities are growing, and children, they rocket once you start school. Like their intelligence skyrockets because you go from just playing and maybe working on skills at home with your parents to 8 hours a day working on skills. Even though kindergarten and grade 1, you might not be able to understand the play and all the little things that happen in there. Those are all teaching them certain strategies and developing certain skills. And one thing that's important is that children and adults, we all learn through multiple ways, and it's called multiple intelligences. And so there are 8 different kinds of multiple intelligences. There's verbal linguistic, logical mathematical, visual spatial, musical, bodily kinesthetic, intrapersonal, and naturalistic. And we're going to talk about each of those. So verbal linguistic is linked to words, so you learn through words. So maybe listening to someone lecture, you would understand. Someone telling you a story, you would understand or learn. Logical mathematical, it means you're skilled in arithmetic and science, so you find patterns that connect facts and observations, so you're going to be very logical and you're good at math. Visual spatial is the ability in drawing and construction. So you learn easiest through pictures and colors. So like a video would really help you learn. Then there's musical, and this has to do with rhythm and sounds. So hearing melodies and rhythms helps promote learning. So like listening to songs, they teach us things. That's why as a kid, a lot of the time songs teach us skills. We listen to songs about numbers, or we listen to songs about sight words, or lots of the time we teach ourselves things through a song to help us remember it. Then there's bodily kinesthetic. This is skills in moving your body through space, so like athletes, dancers, or people who are skilled in crafts. Bodily kinesthetic is when like your teacher makes you get up and do an activity. So instead of learning about mitosis, you would use your bodies to do mitosis, and you would have your pairs, and then you would split, and it would be like a whole class activity where you use your bodies to be the cells. Interpersonal is social skills, so good communication and empathizing with others. So interpersonal is someone who's very good in social settings. Intrapersonal, on the opposite, are more private and less social, so they are people who are more introverted. So interpersonal is extroverted, intrapersonal is introverted. So they might like keeping a diary, they're independent, they might prefer to play alone. And the last one is naturalistic, so understanding of the natural world, plants, animals, processes of nature, They enjoy being outdoors and may enjoy books about animals. So, very in tune with nature. So that's everything for this week. Nice short little lesson. So your two assignments are the physical and intellectual development, the children's book analysis, and you're also still working on the children activity book project as well. So again, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm always available to help, and I hope you have a great week.